Hello everybody and welcome to Pravus Gaming. Let's try Planet Zoo, a new park management game by Frontier Developments. It's brought to us by the same developers who made Planet Coaster and Zoo Tycoon for the ultimate zoo simulation experience. I have a lot of nostalgia for this kind of a park management game, and Zoo Tycoon really was one of my favorite games growing up as a kid, so I'm very excited to see what Planet Zoo has to offer for us today. A big thank you to Frontier Development Studios and their partners for reaching out and getting me an early version of this game, and also sponsoring today's video. Now, if you haven't already guessed, the goal in Planet Zoo is to build and manage a profitable zoo with happy animals and happy guests. Of course, that means you need to adopt animals from all over the world and construct brand new exhibits tailored to meet their environmental needs. Ultimately, the animals' welfare comes first in this game, and you can kind of play as a conservationist, but fortunately, that also makes for the best business decision, because the happier and healthier your animals are, the better your zoo is going to perform. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We're going to create a new zoo, let's say in the grasslands of North America, and we don't need to name it, that's perfectly fine. Alright, here we go. So in order to get started with a new zoo, there are some basic staff facilities we are going to need before we are even allowed to adopt any animals in the first place. Let's get started with some of the basic facilities. We are going to go over here to our staff facilities. Now I know that we are going to need a zookeeper hut, which I will place somewhere. I kind of want to keep it off in the distance, actually. I want to keep it close to the habitats, but a little bit away from where the guests are primarily going to be walking. Because people don't like seeing the facility buildings. It kind of takes away from the ambiance, I guess, or something. I don't know. So we'll just go ahead and create a small little path, kind of right off over here. I'm going to set up a facility with a zookeeper hut. Now we can place down our building exactly like you would in something like Planet Coaster. Something like this will probably be fine, and this is where our zookeepers are going to operate as far as preparing meals and medicines and everything else that is needed for the nearby exhibits. We also need to have a quarantine facility. This is where we're going to first drop off our new animals so we can get them properly checked before they expose any of our other animals to disease. So one right there. Alongside that, we're also going to need a veterinary center because, of course, they're going to need some sort of medical coverage. So here we go. Place one right over here. Seems fine. I need to do a research center so we can find new technology, new exhibits, new animals, and so on. A staff room would probably be good just to keep my staff happy so they don't get too exhausted. Something like that would be fine. We need a trade center. This is where you'll actually be able to buy and sell your existing animals, or adopt them, I guess is the better way to say it. I don't know. And we also need a workshop. I actually have no idea what the workshop does yet. I don't know, it does something, but we need it. We know that we need it before we can do anything else. There we go, we have our basic staff needs met. Now, next thing to do is to set up our first ever exhibit. If we go to animal trading, we can find some animals that are available for adoption. We have aardvarks, African buffaloes, wild dogs, tortoises, lots of bison, some camels, tapirs, tigers, etc. Lots of cool stuff. Let's start with the common ostrich. I think the ostrich is a majestic bird, and will be quite fun for us to add into our first zoo, so we'll go ahead and pick up a couple of those. So I spent like $350 adopting an ostrich, because apparently that's all it takes. If I can buy an ostrich for $350, then I know what I'm getting for Christmas next year. It's not true at all. I know that's not how it works. Let's set up an exhibit. So to do that, we need to set up some walls first. I'm going to go for the wooden walls, make them a little bit longer to start, and place these around this central area right over here. Now, you don't want to have exclusively opaque walls, because otherwise, your guests won't be able to see inside. So that's where you switch over to some glass walls where you want people to be able to see your animals. All right, so we'll do something like this, give them a good wide view. But I don't want to give them too much space, because the animals will feel the need for some privacy. If they feel like they can't get away from prying eyes, then they'll be kind of unhappy. So I'm giving them a few blind spots that they can use to their advantage if they so desire. There we go. Something like that should work just fine. And the last thing we are going to need is an entrance for our zookeepers. So if I set up a wooden habitat entrance, let's say right over here, our zookeepers will be able to enter into the exhibit. Okay, so there we go. We have a basic structure ready to go. Now we need to fill it with animals. If I go back to the animal trading to our storage where we bought the, adopted the ostriches, we should be able to go over here and move them in like so. Okay. Now, once we unpause the game, the animals will get delivered to their new exhibit. But right now we don't have anybody who actually can deliver any animals, so we need to start hiring some staff. Let's go to our zoo, go to staff over here. We want to hire a caretaker. This guy cleans up the park, but also delivers our animals. So there we go. And of course, we also want to hire a keeper who is going to take care of the needs of our ostriches. Now, if I unpause the game here and speed things up, we should see that our caretaker is going to run over to the trade center and is going to grab an ostrich. This ostrich somehow fits inside this tiny little box. I don't know. Apparently the guy can carry an elephant in that thing. It's kind of hilarious, but there we go. We have our first ever ostrich. What's its name? Zahur? Oh, he's beautiful. He's so unhappy, actually. Not a very happy ostrich right now. If you look over at our welfare right here, we can see exactly what our animal needs. Nutrition, social interaction with other animals of its type, habitats, and enrichment. Enrichment's quite bad right now. We can actually break these things down, though, into subcategories to learn a bit more about the needs of our animal. So nourishment, meal quality, hydration, etc., social groups, space, stress. We do know that this ostrich is not thrilled about the terrain. It is not meeting the needs of our ostrich perfectly. So we can find out a bit more about its needs if we go to the Zoopedia. And over here you can learn a bit about the natural habitat of the ostrich, some species data as far as what you can expect out of all of them, life expectancy, whether they're good at reproducing and so on, researching different stuff to unlock for your animals, and also what kind of other animals they can have in the same exhibit, which is kind of cool. We might toss some zebras and giraffes into this exhibit too. I don't know yet. But on top of that, if we go to terrain right here, we can see what they actually need. Currently, there is not enough short grass and too much tall grass. Also not enough soil. We want to have all of this inside a little white bars. So if I go to terrain map mode right here, we can start painting this exhibit a little bit to make it better. So let's go to some short grass. I'm just going to kind of shuffle this around over here. Okay. There we go. You can see we're now getting into the green. Looking a little bit better. We do know that they want some soil. So if we do a little bit over here, for example, just kind of painting the world a little bit, making it look nice. Okay, we are now in the green across the board, and terrain has improved for our ostrich. We also can go to our environment, and if we wanted to plant down some plants, we can do so. Of course, anything you plant down for your nature is going to have to be of the correct continent and biome type, which is very helpful if you want to do some filters. So, for example, let's set up with grassland and African. There we go. And now it automatically filters out all the different types of plants we can get, such as a candelabra tree. We'll place down one of them right there, big one. We'll place down a couple of small ones over here, maybe. Or a baobab tree. That's a bit bigger than I was expecting. No, we don't quite want... I don't think we quite want anything that big. How about some common reeds? Yes. And maybe a marula tree? Okay. This stuff is good for improving the environment and also possibly giving the animals a little bit of privacy if they do need it. There we go. Okay, actually, you can see here that even though I sorted by African grasslands, it tells you right here that the common reeds are not the right kind of plant. This is a North American, European kind of thing, but it does not fit inside of the right environment, so we actually should get rid of that. There we go. And if I click on the ostrich again, we'll get a better sense of the environment and what it likes. So there we go. We actually do now have some coverage. I don't want it to have too much coverage, or it gets outside the white bar, and they'll be unhappy again. We also need to place down some basic feeding and watering facilities for our animal. Now, there's a lot you can choose from depending on what kind of animal you have. So I usually want to filter things up by species. What was this called? The common ostrich? There it is. So we'll filter it out here, which is a great little tool, and we can find all sorts of good stuff for them. A feeding bowl that's large, small, some bedding if we want that, maybe a heater, water pipes, etc. Sure, we'll set up a water pipe over here, kind of close to the glass so that people can see it. And over this direction, I will place down a small food bowl. There we go. Just encouraging the animals to go and eat or drink in front of our guests. We also know that it's going to need some place to sleep, so let's give them a shelter. Looks like they just want to have some basic bedding. They don't actually want a big overhead shelter. So if I give them a little bit of extra large bedding off here in the corner, for example, something kind of like this, I guess, will do fine. That way they can go and have a nice private place to just plop on down and take a nap. Before we continue, let's go ahead and set up another exhibit. How about something like an Indian peafowl? Very different from the ostrich, but still of the avian variety. So we're going to go ahead and get a bunch of these, including, it looks like some sort of a prize-winning Indian peafowl. That should be nice. Mostly have males. I think at some point we want to have a lot of females. Hopefully they don't kill each other. Guess I probably should have read the Zoopedia, right? Well, let's go ahead and set up some barriers. There we go. Okay, so Mira, our first Indian peafowl here, is not especially happy. They desperately need to have a bigger social group. There are too few adults and juveniles currently. Also, really don't like the terrain. Also want to have some enrichment. Got it. That's fine. Let's go to terrain here. So they do not want anywhere near this much long grass, but they do want some short grass. Surprising. I kind of expected them to want something different. But okay, let's go for a lot more of the shorter grassings. Lots more short grass. Also, maybe a little bit of soil. Kind of like this. There we go. Now we're looking pretty solid. Okay. Perfect. So we're well within the green at this point. As far as environment, again, they don't really want to have a lot of coverage. We should be able to go to nature, though, and once again kind of sort by the right stuff. It looks like we can have grasslands of Asia. That's what we're looking for primarily. So let's go sort by those to narrow things down. And then, again, baobab trees doesn't quite feel right to me. Maybe they want nettles? Yes, nettles are acceptable to them. Okay. So I can just have a whole bunch of little nettle patches. Yeah, okay, great. Let's just do that. And just like before, we do still need to give them some food, water, and shelter. So I'm going to once again sort by the Indian Peafowl. There it is. Just make this a little bit easier on me. Okay, these guys do want a bigger shelter. So if I give them, let's say, a basic wooden shelter 8x4x2, that would probably be just fine. We'll set it off over here, a little bit out of the way, close to the wall so they can have some privacy. I will give them a larger feeding bowl, let's say, over here, and a water pipe that is located over here. How's that sound? Pretty good? And then maybe a little bit of habitat bedding and stuff, just in case they want to take a little nap right in front of the guests. I don't think anyone's going to be unhappy about that. There we go. You can see that the social group needs of our Indian peafowl have been met. So the only thing they're lacking at this point is going to be enrichment, which again, we'll come back to some of that. Now, the guests are going to walk around and they're going to see the animals and they're going to be totally enthralled. Hopefully, they'll be so enthralled that they feel compelled to give us more money. So what we're going to do then is go to our, I think it's facilities, and find... There it is, a little donation box. If we place down one of these, preferably close to where they can see the animals while they are still encapsulated and enthralled with what they're seeing, they'll feel the need to just go ahead and toss money at us so that we can better take care of the animals. So a couple of donation boxes would not go amiss. This is a major source of income for the zoo, so never, ever, ever neglect it. In fact, just to be absolutely sure that no one has any excuse not to give us money, I'm going to place an ATM right by the entrance. There you go. One of the things that's pretty fun is you can also follow your animals around with a camera, which is pretty cool, especially if you get, like, let's say, a big water pool and you have a grizzly bear that wants to go for a swim or something. I mean, that's just awesome. But there we go. Look at him go. I don't know what he wants to do. Probably hang out in the shade? Aw, look at you. You're adorable. Let's see if we can set up another big exhibit. What kind of an animal would I like to buy? Let's jump down a little bit. We got lemurs, we got antelopes, crocodiles. Those are a little on the expensive side, but they would be pretty exciting, right? I think that could be the case. Saltwater crocodiles, a male and a female. Perfect. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of them. There we go. Something like this should work just fine. All right, so what does our hungry crocodile need? Well, it needs other of its types. It does not like living in isolation, like, at all. Not particularly thrilled with its last meal quality. Also feels like it doesn't have anywhere near of space. Which doesn't feel quite correct. How much space do you dang well need, huh? All right, fine. Let's take a look at the Zoopedia. So what do we got for saltwater crocodiles? Well, they live primarily in the Indonesian region, apparently. Here's some species data, research, processed meat. They do not like sharing space with anyone else, which makes perfect sense. Okay, so for terrain, you really do not like what you have here. This grass needs to go away. Okay. Well, maybe we can adjust the terrain and give you a bunch of water. Would you like that? I think you'd like that. Let's try pushing down some of this terrain here. Just a bit like this. Yeah, let's get a good amount. Preferably up close to the guests, because I expect they're going to want to spend a lot of their time over here. There we go. Something like this should do okay. And then if we go to water, I can place down some calm water right over here. Whoop, there we go. And now we have a big water pool that this thing can play around in. Perfect. There we go. That should be significantly better. Okay, and we actually have enough water area, so it feels pretty happy. You still feeling cramped there? Not at all. Doesn't actually have any social needs either all of a sudden. I'm not too sure what happened there, but okay. Last meal quality sucks. Sorry, not a whole lot I can do about that at the moment. Let's get rid of this whole Indian peafowl thing. Where were you again? Saltwater crocodile? Hang on, find that. There you are. Yes. We need A large food tray, I guess. Actually, you also need a shelter. Let me give you a shelters over here in a corner somewhere. So people feel like you don't have you can get a little bit of privacy. Perfect. And then, yeah, a small feeding tray over here, let's say. A little further away from the guests so they don't feel a need to snap at them or anything. And also a water pipe, let's say, over here. Perfect. Take a look at this. You can actually see the crocodile that's swimming around in the water right now. If I go to camera mode, there we go. Oh, look at that lumber. You giant prehistoric lizard, you. There we go. We can beautify the environment a little bit so it feels a bit more natural. Of course, you got to have plenty of mangroves and reeds because you want them to sneak out behind the reeds, and they're seeing guests right there, and I'm like, da-da, da-da-da-da-da. I'm a crocodile, not Jaws, or something. I don't know. So how about we place a little drink shop right over here, and then maybe a food shop right over here. There we go. Okay, so that should meet people's immediate needs. We can get some extra concession stand sales. And then, of course, I need to beautify the area a little bit. Hang on. There we go. That should be a little bit nicer. Of course, we also want to place down some benches so that people can take a second to eat some food. We want to have some regular trash bins, but also recycling bins because we're conservationists over here this time. There you go. Place down a couple of those. Perfect. Now, I'm not too sure how this whole education thing is supposed to work. Haven't tried that yet. So let's set up a little educational board right here, I guess. Does it automatically set up with a nearby exhibit? It does not look like it. Okay. There is supposed to be a way to do this. There we go. Okay, hang on. Educational content. Look at that! Oh, that is a slick feature. Wow, dude, do you want to get your head in the board? Oh, they threw money into the thing! It's working! We're educating people and they're paying me for it! Now, here's a fun little thing I just noticed. I placed down another one of those education boards next to the saltwater crocodiles, but it did not turn on. And the reason why is it is apparently not powered. Yeah, we need to power these things. Okay, so that's a whole nother headache that you guys haven't had to worry about up until this point. So if we go to, I think it's facilities, and look for utilities, we have water treatment and transformers. Transformers are necessary in order to actually get power all across your zoo. So if I were to place something off in the distance over here, for example, that would probably work just fine. Maybe something over here, I guess? Kind of out of the way? Yeah, all right. I don't especially love it, but, I mean, guests shouldn't be coming off in this direction anyway, right? And that means this thing should get turned on. There it is. Beautiful. That's such a cool feature, actually. I'm surprised how much I like that, but I really like that. Many guests think that tickets are underpriced. I guess this is a good time to go over our finances a little bit. Haven't been worrying about it, but having too much fun building a beautiful zoo. All right, let's see. So, yeah, we're not charging very much money at all. We should probably charge at least like $10 for an adult and $6 for a child to get in here, right? At the very minimum, yeah, let's start making some cash. Well, we're slowly but surely making some money, but if I want to get a lot more donations, then I think we need to make our animals a bit happier. If I look at the peafowl, we can see that they definitely are unhappy about the lack of enrichment. So one of the best things we could do then is probably start researching some new enrichment, right? So if I go to the zoo, for example, and veterinarian research, ooh, cool, you can see there's a whole bunch of different types of diseases you could be trying to ward against as well. That's pretty darn cool. Well, let's go to the Indian Peafowl, and what I can do is take the vet that I hired, Ramona Doyle, and drag her over here, I think. Is that how this works? Yes, there we go. So she's going to start researching new levels for our Indian Peafowl, and that will get me some enrichment. There we go. Some vet research is complete. We've learned more about the Indian Peafowl. All right, wonderful. Thank you. So let's take a quick pause and see what we have unlocked. If I go to Habitat, for example, swap this around. We're going to switch the species of the Indian Peafowl, like so. Have we learned anything about enrichment? Yes, a slow feeder. Don't really know how a slow feeder helps me. Maybe the seeds just kind of slowly run down the track and it entertains the peafowl. But there we go. They should get a little bit of enrichment value out of that. Sure enough, species food enrichment has been provided for all animals. They are lacking in toys. But even so, this is going to be a slight improvement, which means their welfare goes up, which makes everything better. I should probably also place down some do not feed signs. Don't throw your garbage over to the peafowl or the ostriches, and definitely not the crocodile. Where's the do not smile sign? Never smile at a crocodile. That's what I always learned. Oh, this is funny. Apparently I have a visiting player. Sylv? Hi. Funny. I have no idea how I have a visiting player. I guess this must be one of the devs. The game isn't released yet, so that's fun. Cool. Uh-oh, fighting for alpha status. The bongos are fighting each other. I want to watch this. Look at them fight. Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Look at them go. Guys, you're in for a treat. I hope you're getting a good educational experience out of this. Maybe we shouldn't have had multiple males. Is that a thing? Are you not supposed to have multiple males? Wow, this weather is like super dramatic. Seriously, you get some rain at night? Dang, man. You can barely see what the heck is going on here. It's really cool, actually. Now, as with Planet Coaster, you do have to maintain your staff, make sure that they have enough energy, you're not overworking them completely, which we appear to be doing at the moment. Capacity is currently 3 out of 4. High demand going on there. We could try getting in a perk, though. More resilient against being overworked. Gain happiness faster. Stuff we'll learn more about the animals. Rec room. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do over here. We're going to go for some stuff. Healthcare. It costs us a little bit of extra money to run this, but it also prevents our staff from quitting, from feeling overworked. So that's got to be a good thing, right? Another thing you need to keep in mind is the cleanliness of the water in your park. So I just had to install a water treatment utility, which works the exact same way as the transformer, I think. You place this down, you get to have a nice radius right here. So it should start cleaning out the water in the crocodile exhibit because it was getting so bad, it was creating a disease risk, which is obviously not great, so we wanted to fix that. I also decided I'm going to pack up one of the male ostriches and male bongos. I did some research in the Zoopedia. If you're having trouble understanding how an animal is supposed to work... Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Ah, no! If you want to find out how an animal is supposed to work, you can go to the Zoopedia, and for example, right here in species data, it tells you a good group size is 1 to 5, with 1 male and up to 4 females. But you don't want to have multiple males fighting for dominance. So I've learned something today. You know, it's funny, I could have sworn that I heard chanting. I wondered if maybe we had like a protest movement going on. It's like, oh, you can't keep these animals, set them free. And I'm like, okay, I will set the Timberwolves free first. What? No, don't do that. Ah! That would be my kind of game. All right, we're finally going to do it. I'm going to get myself a bear. Now, I think I can spend like some sort of conservation credits, yeah, for special animals that require extra care. So this is for like really good animals. But we're going to get ourselves a Formosan black bear, 1 male and 1 female. I already checked the Zoopedia and made sure that that's going to be fine. Let's send them to the zoo to a new big habitat that I've created just for them. Hey, I did hear people protesting. What do you know? Okay, I don't appreciate that none at all. Security! Poof! Excuse me, what's going on over here? Oh, he just walks away. That's fine. Who's been in the box for too long? Whoa, wait, what are you doing in there? Get out. You don't need to be boxed up in there. You're fine. Go run free, my little bear. We're having trouble, apparently, with some animals starting to starve. I can't really say that I understand why, because we should have enough keepers assigned to all these jobs, but maybe we just need more. Maybe I just need to have a bunch more. I can do that. So I was setting them up to some different work zones, right? With the intention being they can split the workload between specific exhibits. Set you to number 1, for example, and I'll set you to number 2. There we go. We should have plenty of them now. Yeah, if I go to work zones, for example, right here, these 3 exhibits are in one work zone, and then the other 3 are in a different work zone. The idea being that I can spread the load out a bit more evenly, and it should be easy to keep track, and yet somehow my animals are starving, so go freaking figure. No, don't fight each other. It shouldn't be overcrowded at all. What's the issue here? Hang on, I want to watch this. Oh, look at them. Look at them. Oh, those are going to be some excited people. Get out. Whoa, there's actually scratch marks. Okay, hang on. Pause for a second. Social group. Too many adults. Yep, there's too many adults, all right. As is always the case with these Planet games, whether it be Planet Coaster or apparently Planet Zoo, I love just sitting back and beautifying the park. Look at how good that looks. That's a pretty awesome looking zoo if you were to ask me. I think this gets a lot of the point across. The only thing that remains is a seal of approval from my wife. And Yali! The only thing remaining from this game is to see if you actually think it's cute enough. Here's a bell. Look at him! Look at the cute little bell! He's standing a little on the side, isn't he? But there you go. They can swim in everything.
Do they eat peppers?
I don't know if they eat peppers specifically, but they eat things. I told you guys she would remember the peppers.
Really cute.
Look at the animations on that guy, too. It looks pretty good. Yep, he's about to go into the water. And he goes, oof, oof, he's a big boy. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Now he gets to swim around. Look at the cute bear swimming in the water.
Does he have bear friends?
He does have one bear friend, yes. I don't remember its name, but it's there.
They have names.
They have names, yeah. This one's name is Shen. Shen, the Formosan black bear. Well, guys, that is a first look at Planet Zoo. I will say I'm surprised how easy it is to get into the game. If you've had any experience at all with Planet Coaster, the park management side of things is going to be very familiar to you and very easy to get into. For everything else with the exhibits, I mean, if you have any experience with Zoo Tycoon or anything similar, again, not too hard to get into, but the tutorials are very, very good if you are looking to get experience. Oh, hang on, here's an ostrich playing with the ball. Ostrich, you going to play with the ball or are you just going to stare at the ball? No. Wow, what a great view for these guys. Dang, I wish I was at this zoo. Yeah, there's a lot of species variation in this game, too, which you'll love to see. And I haven't even messed with some of the smaller exhibits yet. You know those snake holes or spider pits you can find at other zoos? You can totally do that here, too, if you want to, which is pretty darn cool. The game is going to be launching on November 5th, so the day this video goes up is launch day. If you are interested in picking up a copy for yourself, I will include a Steam store link in the description down below. In the meantime, though, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative in some way. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I, as always, will see you guys next time.